Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Got another short tale from the DoorDash road here. This is from my dash on Tuesday, April 1st. And I'll start putting the dates of these stories that I talk about like I've talked about before. Most of the videos are now going to be like kind of like post dated or scheduled out in the future, I should say. And I'll start putting like the dates in the description of the video when the dash was from. But this is kind of working out for me because like at the time of this recording, like last weekend I didn't dash at all. We went out of town, and then I think not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, there's a chance I might not dash that weekend either. So, and plus, I might have dashes where there's not really a whole lot exciting to talk about. So this has kind of worked out the way I'm doing this, so that I'm scheduling things in advance, but no more than 2 months out. And that way, even if I'm not dashing or there's nothing interesting to talk about, at least there's regularly scheduled content that'll be posted on the channel at all times going forward. Okay, so Tuesday, April 1st, work my W-2 is just an 8-hour shift. Normally I work 10, and I thought I would dash after work. Kind of made a little bit of a mistake. I had an errand to run. What I did was I came home, I walked the dog, took a shower, changed, ran an errand, come back home, walk the dog again, and then I logged into a dash. Well, it was like 3:15, well, almost. You see this first screenshot here, 3:13 was the offer. And so I at this point I only got about an hour until like rush traffic starts in my zone. So and I'll talk about this as we go on, talking about the breaking down this order. But yeah, I lesson learned. I what I probably should have done is I should have just come home, changed, and immediately, like at 1:30, logged into a dash. What, like 1:30 to 4 or something like that. Just get on for a couple hours before all hell breaks loose in my zone and it gets gridlocked. Um, and then because 4 to 6 p.m. hit certain places in my zone, it's crazy. And then I can't really wait until after 6 p.m., because I have to be in bed. I like to try to be in bed by 8 p.m. for the W-2 because I have to be up at 4 in the morning. Yeah, I don't really want to dash from 6 to 8 p.m. and then immediately like end a dash and immediately go to bed. That's probably not going to happen. But anyway, I did what I did today. I logged in, it only took about a minute, and right off the bat, I get a triple. So this pops up on my screen for 33 bucks, and I was like, huh. I hardly ever see anything like this in my zone. I can't remember the last triple that I've seen, honestly, or if I've ever received one in the 2.5 years I've been dashing. Right off the top of my head, I don't remember a triple. I do remember one time, this is in my early days of dashing. This is kind of funny, but I got stuck. It's like a Friday at lunchtime. I got stuck on Stringtown Road, where a lot of this order here is taking place, which I'll get to. But I started getting bombarded with, it was mainly Panera and Panda Express, those two restaurants. And there was like 5 or 6 crappy orders total coming out of those two restaurants at the same time. As I decline, 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 decline. And I should have paused it and got out of there, but I didn't. And then after like 6 or 7 declines, then they sent me like a quad. They took like 4 of these 7 or 8 crappy orders and put it in like a quadruple stack. And I declined that one too, but anyway, that was kind of funny. Anyway, this one, now on to today's order. So I was like, this is interesting. Now it is high mileage, and I didn't, you see the one customer that's out west, and maybe I should have paid closer attention, just exactly how far west that really was. That customer was in West Jeff. So and I took this, but it's my first ever time delivering that far west before. Never done a West Jeff order before. But when I first saw this, I shop at Meijer for 2 items. That doesn't seem too bad. And then the Dicks and Giant Eagles are just pickups. And even with the 28 miles, I thought maybe there's an outside chance I could get this done. Even with the traffic, maybe I could get this done in an hour, which would be great. And even if it took an hour and a half, that's still about a $20 an hour, over a $20 an hour rate. Even if it took me 90 minutes. And I like challenges like this. So I went ahead and took this. And $33, heck, and this may be my only offer that I even do. I'll see how long this takes me and what time I finish, and maybe I'll just stop with just the one offer. Let's find out, guys, how I did. Spoiler alert, I didn't do too good on it. Okay. So I get to Meijer in 10 minutes. No problem at all there. It's only, like I said, 3:15 in the morning. Or 3:15 in the afternoon. 10 minutes, I get to Meijer, take this screenshot. Okay, got to get some cornstarch and contour lash adhesive, whatever this is. I motor it through this. You're talking 2 opposite ends of the store. I motor it through there, and boom, 4 minutes. You want to talk about high speed walking right there. 4 minutes, I had this shopped out to the register, and then I get to Dick's. Really no problem getting to Dick's. I just got there okay, so it took me 13 minutes to check out, walk back across the front of the store, to side of the parking lot I was on, get in my car, drive down to Dick's. All of that took just like 13 minutes. So I'm still, well, at least at this point, kind of moving along pretty well. I get to Dick's, and so I was a little bit concerned about this chair. What kind of a rocking chair? Is this something that was going to fit in my car or not? So I was a little bit worried about that. When I got there, the staff member asked to see my ID, which I thought was kind of weird. I've only had to mess with my ID on alcohol orders. So, but I showed it to her, and it just took a second, and she got the items. This was just like a folding chair. So, and of course the shirt, that is just a small little package. So so this wasn't bad at all. Then I try to make my way to Giant Eagle. And so it's just before 4 o'clock when the you know what hits the fan in my zone. And Stringtown Road going back that other direction was absolutely gridlocked. I think I must have, what would normally just take like not even 5 minutes from Dick's to Giant Eagle. You're talking like 4 traffic lights. You know 5 minutes at the normal times that I dash. There must have been, I want to say, 2 of those traffic lights that I had to wait for like 3 light cycles to get through the light. I mean, it was awful. And I got to Gantz, which is like 1 traffic light away. And I was in the wrong lane. I need to be in the left. I was in the right. And good luck with getting over 1 lane in that gridlock mess. And I was like, screw this. I made a right on Gantz. I went through like a parking lot, and then I went to like the next street over, and there was this long train of like 250,000 cars. Like that, I was, good luck with trying to make a left to get into that train of cars. I turn right. I go to another street. I go further. Now I'm driving like past Giant Eagle. Drive down and go to the next like major road is Hoover. And then I decided to go to Hoover and turn and, get back to Stringtown, come back from the other direction. As all this was going on, that original hour that I was thinking, I was starting to think to myself, heck, at this point, I'd be happy to get this triple order done in like 4 hours. I mean, at this rate that I'm going, oh my gosh. So it took me 24 minutes to get to Giant Eagle. So that was, I don't know, that was pretty good. I'm surprised it didn't take me an hour to get there. But I went that roundabout way and got there in 24 minutes. And you see that it wanted me to pick up by 4:11. I was there at 4:04. So making good time, I guess, as far as that goes, that pickup time. And had to wait. You see 8 minutes. There was next screenshot. That's when I got the order. The Giant Eagle staff member comes out with like 2 big, grocery carts full. I thought maybe all of that was for the car next to me. And then she's loading up that car, and then comes straight over to my car. So I guess some of this stuff was my order. And so I get out of the car, and usually I've never had problems before with the staff there, but I don't know what this girl's deal was. But I open up my trunk, I get out of the car, and I try to like open up my 2 DoorDash catering bags, and I said, if there's anything, if we could, any like cold sacks, if we could put in the catering bags. And right away she was like, and like grabbing a sack, and geez, man, and throwing the sacks in. God darn it, man. And picking these sacks up and all aggravated, putting them in, and man, and all this body like, and I'm thinking to myself, lady, just tell me to like get back into my car and shut my mouth, and don't give me all this like 50 million different movements of this grumpy body language. Just why don't you just tell me how you really feel and get it over with? I can take it. I mean, gosh, man. that yeah, I wish I could have recorded that. But whatever her problem was, and but I just stood there, and fortunately she didn't have anything on her, like some kind of, like, I don't know, a nightstick or a baseball bat or whatever to beat me over the head with. I try to stay out of her way. As she finished putting stuff in one catering bag, I zipped it up as she was putting more stuff in the car, and she didn't beat me up with anything. So whatever. She's like a younger girl, probably, I don't know, mid to late 20s or something. I don't know. Who cares? Moving on. Um, and then, so now I'm finally on to my first delivery. So the Meyer delivers first to the Taco Bell, and I actually made pretty good time getting from the Giant Eagle to. I took like a back way away from all of the gridlock mess, and actually got there in 12 minutes. That's getting there and delivering that. So I'm kind of surprised that I got there that quickly. Um, and now of course we're over an hour. I started at three. What was it? 3:13. That initial offer, first delivery, 4:24. I still got two more deliveries, and one of them's like West Jeff. So okay, now it's off to the Giant Eagle drop off, and just took 13 minutes until I had that delivered. Had to use my wagon on this. I walked one bag, a catering bag, and a sack up to the door, and came back to my car. I was like, no, I'm putting the rest of this in my wagon. And kind of funny story with this, they had a couple dogs just inside that screen door, like barking at me, like loud. And it was fun. So they're barking and everything, and I'm used to it. We're dog. We own a dog, so I'm used to it. But anyway, they were loud, like I said. And at one point, the owner, who I couldn't see, must have been sitting in the living room or whatever. This was so funny. He was like, "Shut up!" and the dogs did shut up. I got a kick out of that. It was fun. It was out of a movie or something. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Uh, and then it was off to West Jeff for the third order. So I got that delivered. That took me 21 minutes. So I want to say it was about a 13-mile drive, something like that, 13, 14 miles from that drop off to West Jeff. Is all country roads, no traffic. And so I had that done. Everything done, last order dropped off at 4:58. If it wasn't for that Dick's, okay, if it was just the Meyer and the Giant Eagle, I easily would have had this done in probably like 45 minutes or whatever. But that mess coming back, and maybe I should have tried to switch tasks, done the Giant Eagle first and then go to Dick's, and traffic wouldn't have been as much of an issue. But the reason why I didn't do that, this was a large Giant Eagle order. It's like 60 or 70 items, whatever it was. And if I would have switched tasks, I might have gotten there too early and they still would have been shopping it or whatever. So um, that's why I didn't want to take a chance on that. And so with the Dick's order being the one that kind of like was the problem order here. I was interested to see the pay breakdown here. I was like, you just watch $2 from DoorDash and a zero tip on the dicks to add insult to injury, and then a high tip on the other two orders. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, close out the delivery. That's not what happened. So the 17.25 from DoorDash, and and these tips were pretty much probably the way that they should be. The smallest tip, that Meyer order, is it's just two items and it's going to a Taco Bell worker. So I understand the dollar on that one. Then the Dick's was $5. But still $5. As you're a customer placing that order, you know what's involved. You know that you're having a driver drive from Grove City out to where you're at. You know how far that is, and you're gonna tip $5. If that was me, I've talked about before. I bare minimum I tip $8 on any order that I place. If I lived in West Jeff and was doing DoorDash orders coming from this area, Grove City area or Columbus, I'd probably bare minimum like $15. Bare minimum is what I would do. $5. And then $10 for the giant eagle. So appreciate that very much. That was that's about what it should be for that order. And then so here's my dash summary. Out 3 deliveries, the $33 active, dash time hour 46, active hour 44. And then I got home here just after like 5:15. So all total, I had about 2 hours wrapped up in this, and so that's 16 something an hour. Not very good. Mileage, as you could expect, that deadhead miles back from West Jeff. So all total 44 miles. So it was not good as far as like time or mileage goes, but it is what it is. I got out of the apartment and did something for 2 hours instead of just watching TV or whatever until 8 o'clock. But anyway, that's it for now. It was that's all for this video. It was a learning experience today for sure. Thanks guys so much for watching. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and we will catch you at the next video.